Hello, everyone. I believe we are live now. So, welcome to the live show for Investing with the Difference. We are YouTube channel. I think most of you are subscribing us on YouTube. We do have a Facebook page, and we have been like pretty young channel. Thanks a lot for all your love. We have already got more than 1297 now. Great. That subscribe. This is huge for us. I think we are really appreciate all your comments and the appreciation you have shown. Again, as I said, we are pretty young channel. If you see about the details of the channel, we started in March 16, and for 1 month we didn't almost post anything much. So it's less than 2 months. We have gained a lot of support here, and we will keep doing more and more shows trying to help you understand cryptocurrency space. Originally, we've started this channel for much bigger intent, because I have been active in stock market space for more than 20 years, and I've got a lot of people who I work with and network with. And I'm again a little bit of background, so I would avoid answering any personal questions beyond this. So let me just give you a little bit more background. So I'm engineer by trade, but I have been mostly doing this as a hobby, where I love teaching people about controlling your own finances. My main goal has been educating people about not really listening to people who don't have your right interest in mind. So remember, when it is about money, people always will try to fool you. You are the only person who can really learn and control your own money. So always look to learn, always look to see how you can really make those investments which you can understand, and not just listen to somebody else. So again, I would always tell you, everybody who is listening to me, to do your own research, while my goal is to share more and more facts and details as I learn. All right, guys. So going to forward, this today's episode, we are going to again focus on EOS, mostly look at a little more about the market overall. So feel free to add your questions as you go along in the chat section right below your YouTube video, and we will try to take up as many questions as we can. So, but before we jump to the questions, let me have a quick review of where we are. So this is one of the tracker from US Nation. I like this, so I started using it now. The good thing is, I think what is happening is that there is a chain candidate, as we updated in the last video on EOS Core. So they have already been testing this particular chain. And this ID, if I click, this will take you to EOS Flare and more details about it. But another thing which is happening is EOSFlare.io. This is, again, very good tool. So a lot of people are asking, what will be the Etherscan or Eth Explorer kind of tool, just like Ethereum network has. And that is actually very, very important, because as soon as the chain launches, there will be transactions possible on that. And also the EOS is a little more complicated, because you're talking about staking of tokens, voting. So there's a lot of information you need to track about your tokens, whether they are staked, whether you can withdraw them or not. And that's why this kind of a tool is very important. So let me quickly show you. This is the tool. It's a very basic interface. I like simple interface websites, which are mainly for utility. And so this again shows you where the status is. So even now, if you put your public key, you should be able to start seeing the tokens, the account number, and so on, hopefully, if this thing is working. Again, they're using this chain, going back to this chain candidate. So this is the chain they're using. And this chain is still not mainnet. So remember, this is still a candidate chain. This is still a testing phase. This is not the launched chain. So once that happens, then we will talk more about this particular EOS Flare tool, and we will see how well it performs. Now, little more detail came out an hour back. So this will tell you exactly what is happening. So again, this is a post from US New York, which is part of US Core initiative. And they are talking about the same things again, that they have taken a snapshot, they have validated it. More than 8 independent tests have been conducted. So this is all the success story we are talking about. The great thing is there is no big issues which have been found. There were 10 to 12 issues reported in the bug bounty, mostly coming from one person who has been a very, very active person on Ethereum blockchain as well. And he, it seems, reported 12 issues, and he made 120K. So again, ethical hackers are always good in the system. They are the people who really try to break the system, and bug bounty was declared at the right time. So that's a great news. A lot of bugs have been found. Again, it's a software. It's a software, and you can always have more bugs. The question is whether the basic launch comes up. We need the what these guys are focusing on is right now testing the key contract. So what these are, let me not go into the technical details of it. Some of this I'm still reading about them. So these are like basic accounts, the system accounts, which have to be created and validated. And these are going to be used when you have a real mainnet running, the controlling the RAMs, controlling the names, then whatever the EOS token details, which we are already talking about, like who owns what tokens and so on. And then of course the staking history. So all this is it's a very complex chain, and this is going to be tested by these block producer candidates, and they are having a meeting. So what I hear is they originally planned for a meeting right now, which I believe is around 11 p.m. UTC, but they have pushed it out by 2 hours because somebody notified that the Beijing team, EOS Beijing, which is in China, they have not really received the notification for this meeting. So this was the chatter I have been observing on some of the channels on Telegram, and now they have moved it out by. So from 2 hours from now, this meeting is going to happen, and they are going to review all the test results. They are going to look at the bugs, like where the status is. So it's like P0 means then they will just hold off everything. P1 means that they have to fix it. So I think what they're saying is, if there is any bug reported, which is P0 or P1, and this is what they will focus on. And if everybody agrees that there is no P0 or P1 issues, they will go ahead and decide the launch. And the timeline they are suggesting is 1300 hour UTC, which is around 14 hours from now. So even if they agree in 2 hours from now in the meeting, I think the actual launch process will start in another 12 to 14 hours. And that is the best case right now. So, and then when this process starts, if we go back, that would mean that the testing is completed and they will start enabling. Now, what will happen from enabling is, once they enable this chain, then they will have to first of all make sure all the block producers are able to verify that the process is again working, because till now they have been running test processes, and then they will actually make it a mainnet working, and then they will open it up for voting once they know that it is safe. And that voting can take forever. It can be like 5 minutes or 1 hour, because everybody is really eager to vote, especially the people who are being supported right now by big block producers. They are already preparing the big token holders. And interestingly, I have been watching this Bitfinex. Bitfinex has actually created a block producer vote ballot. So what they are saying is they are trying to be very transparent. There have been a lot of questions against Bitfinex about what they are doing in terms of in terms of how they are going to be voting, whether they will be using, because Bitfinex is a huge exchange. They have a lot of tokens of EOS, and they are also known to be very close to Block.one. One of the reasons being that, first of all, they are launching EOS Finex. They have already announced a block producer candidacy. The third thing is that everybody thinks that the Ethereum which Block.one accumulated, they sell it on Bitfinex because they have tracked those withdrawals directly into Bitfinex wallets. So there's a lot of speculation about, from when you listen to the FUD, that this is going to be, Bitfinex can be a party which may try to centralize this process, but they are being very transparent. And if you read this blog from them, they're actually putting open source code for this voting tool. Anybody can review and make sure that it is very fair voting rights. So this is pretty good. So I think there have been some questions already on the chat. So I guess I see some people are asking about Binance. I would say Binance is not really very supportive of EOS right now. Other than the mainnet swap, they have not even confirmed a single airdrop for EOS. So they may just keep all of them. I think there will be some pressure on them for Everipedia, because my belief is that Everipedia will be huge. This will be one of the biggest DApp on EOS, and there will be more and more DApps coming. But I think every PDA had shared the information very early. They've also asked all exchanges to work towards it if they want their airdrop, and if Binance doesn't do it, they will lose a lot of customers. So and I think that they cannot risk, but I don't see them being very, very supportive. Definitely all the other smaller airdrops which may not be worth anything in short term, I don't expect Binance to support those. On the other hand, I think Bitfinex has been very, very open. They are actually, because they being a US block producer, they are trying to convince the community that they are supportive of everything on EOS. And that's why I think Bitfinex has been very, very good with this. And they have actually declared every PDA already. And I'm expecting more airdrops from Bitfinex for these people who are still keeping their coins in the exchange. Anyway, now you cannot do anything. The time has passed. ERC20 wallets are frozen. Now you need to wait for this launch to complete, and then only you will be able to move the tokens. And even then, I think all these exchanges may not even be ready with their wallets, because all this, once the mainnet is launched, the only way you can access your token is by actually porting your private keys to a wallet. And usually these exchanges have their own way of implementing wallets, and they are a pretty big these exchanges are pretty huge. They have a lot of they must have their own processes to validate a wallet. So I'm assuming that it will take forever for exchanges to even swap these tokens and make them withdrawable. So I would be, maybe Bitfinex will be early because they are already working on EOS and they are trying to work very closely with community, but I don't expect Binance to be very quick with this. But I think overall, they don't have any, I think, other than Bitfinex and some of the other Huobi and others which are listed, I don't expect Binance to support many airdrops. All right, so now coming back to the US launch. So I think right now you just have to sit tight, nothing much we can do. And so we just have to wait for this call to happen in 2 hours, and another after that we will know once there will be more chatter on Telegram of what is going to happen tomorrow. But I think the earliest we are looking at, if everything goes well on the call, we are looking at sometime similar time frame tomorrow, I would say. So 1300, I think it's 1300 UTC would be morning US time sometime. So I think that is the earliest we're talking about. All right, so what you can do, I think you should, again, I hope everybody has already checked their tokens. The US authority has already updated the snapshot on this and integrated with this tool. We already talked about it. Another thing which happened is, this is another activity which we are observing. So EOS IO core arbitration forum is already formed. At least they have launched it. They're already talking about, so this is again a candidate arbitration forum because community has to bless it. So you need to understand that EOS is very unique, that they are allowing arbitration of over the smart contracts. There are a lot of ways, like the lost tokens can be recovered. There can be a lot of issues in smart contract which can be resolved through this arbitration forum. So a lot of new things are coming in EOS. We will talk about it after the mainnet launches, but I am personally, I'm very excited about this arbitration forum, and hopefully this will really make a difference in the way blockchain works. One example which Thomas Cox gave in one of the Telegram discussion, and also in the EOS Go live telecast yesterday, that there are $300 million worth of Ethereum which was lost, which actually resulted in the chain, the whole forking for Ethereum Classic and Ethereum. That $300 million worth of Ethereum is still missing, and that cannot be recovered because there is no arbitration possibility, even though it's very, very easy to see what happened there, and the token holders are still totally helpless in recovering their money. So this is something which EOS will not allow, and it's they have a very strong model and constitution. But again, EOS community has to come together and bless the constitution, bless the rules and regulations, everything. So that will only be possible once EOS launch is completed and the final voting portals are created. There will be a lot of voter proposals and so on. So it's going to be a democracy like we run our cities and countries. It's very similar to that EOS is planning to be. And that's what we love about Dan Larimer's vision of how blockchain should be. It should actually reflect real world rather than creating a totally independent kind of an entity which doesn't really make sense in real world. And that's what we are seeing with Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's what we are seeing a lot of issues with them. So again, coming back to, as this is a more of a Q&A session, so please go ahead. If you have any specific question, we can talk about it. But overall, we are just going to continue monitoring this. We will maybe do an update later tonight when the call happens and we hear what was discussed between the block producers. So all these core members are coming together again. More and more people are actually supporting it. One thing, if while you are not actually, if there are no other questions at this moment, I would like people to watch this particular video from ES Canada, which explains very clearly, means I cannot say it in better words because it's a very 1-minute video. It explains what is happening in terms of multiple candidate chains and how you should understand it.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to clear out a simple misconception I've seen here. I think people have perceived that they've seen chains launched by a certain group and another chain launched by another group and all that. But I want to clarify that what is the chain? Like, if we launch a chain, anyone launches a chain, and today, actually, maybe 100 people on Earth can launch a chain that will resemble mainnet, has everything we need in there. So the chain is literally a database. Like, think of MySQL, it's a database well known. You can insert things in there, and then you look at the content of the database, and you say, does it have all the rows and columns I want, right? Does it have all the, like, for example, EOS, does it have all the snapshot in there? Does it have the proper contracts? Does it have the good balances? Does it honor everyone in the ERC20 crowd sale? That's the chain. It's the content. It's not anyone's chain, because in the end, like 50 entities could start the chain, and they would all be a chain we want, right? Because it contains what everyone wants. It doesn't really matter who starts it or whatnot. So the goal of the community right now is just to test any chain that people are launching that it fits the bill. And everyone can see through the validation tool everyone is running that this chain or that chain or that chain are all like a good chain. We want all the things to be properly validated. The community is doing that right now. So I don't think there's a divide there. That's just what I wanted to say. Hey, bye.
All right. So this is something I wanted to show everybody so that you see, like, what it means. So these are block producers themselves speaking about the chains. So there's no conflict here. So don't listen to the FUD. There's a lot of posts everywhere that there are multiple chains. There is no consensus and so on. And one chain failed or the other is doing better. So that is not really the case. It's about any number of chains. They are just testing the code right now, validating it, and then they are going to join together. And that is something which everybody is waiting for. So, okay, so I think I have a few questions here on the chat. So how do we purchase additional EOS tokens once the mainnet gets launched? I would say you can buy those tokens once the exchanges swap their tokens. The other thing will be, I'm expecting some of the EOS exchanges to come up. So in yesterday's video, we talked about chains. So chains is already a platform based on EOS, which they are planning to move very fast, and they are enabling buying EOS directly. But my expectation is you should be able to, once any of the exchanges which are going to support trading of the mainnet token, maybe Bitfinex, Binance are usually the fastest movers. And then you can start buying there using your any of other tokens, or exchanging on maybe some distributed exchanges. The other question is, how close are you to Hashgraph project and implication for EOS? I haven't really looked at Hashgraph. If you guys believe that it is something which is a great project, I would definitely have a look at it. Till now, I haven't spent any time on that. Thanks for highlighting that if you believe that it's a strong project. To earn mainstream adoption, crypto needs to solve a mainstream problem. What this will be, in your opinion? I think the problems are very well defined. So I think, Richard, this is a great question. So I would say the problems of the world, which blockchain is trying to solve, are very, very well defined. Transfer of money, which is the biggest challenge, like banks are controlling your life. Anything where there is a third party, where there is a mediation needed, where you're relying on people and not really smart contracts, that is up for disruption. Plus the centralized nature of all these data centers. We are moving to a new version of internet. So if you see, there's a cycle. First, we started with a computer, then we went to a, if you are from a technology background, you know that there is a client server architecture where we moved to the server and you were only a client. And then again it became centralized again, and it is a cycle where people take control back and then it goes back into some central entity. And nowadays, right now, is a time of cloud. Everything is in cloud. Google holds all your data. Facebook holds all your data, and all those can be disrupted by blockchain. That is that will need distributed data where no one entity holds your data. So I would say almost every database centric operations which is trust based, where you are trusting a third party, those can be disrupted with blockchain, and that's where the adoption will happen. Why it has not happened till now? Because there was nothing like EOS, because EOS is enabling you with the instant transactions, no cost transactions. There are a lot of features of EOS, like recoverable coins, which we just talked about, then usernames instead of these huge keys. So there are a lot of features of EOS which make it more usable for real life applications. Okay, so the other questions are, when are the official wallets coming out? I would say official wallets are difficult to say. How do you say official? They're just like for a Bitcoin team doesn't say which is official wallet. It's more about people. Anybody can write. It's an open source code. Anybody can write a wallet. Now it's about validation of those wallets by community. Maybe the community will come together and say these are the wallets preferred and tested by us, but it's very dangerous thing because these are bugs. Even with the best intention, somebody writes a wallet, there can be a bug which a hacker can exploit. So I would say the best case will be if I think EOS New York had a post a little while back that they are working on a Ledger Nano based hardware wallet. So I trust those hardware wallets because your private key is never exposed to you. There is no risk. They always send a hashed transaction out of the hardware wallet, and that makes it safe. So I would still wait for that hardware wallet integration and wait for the community to test. I'm a long-term holder for this EOS. I'm not planning to sell it in short time. So from that perspective, if you really are looking for short-term trades for selling, I would say that it's very risky. The ideal thing would be wherever you expose your keys first time, make sure you immediately transfer to another wallet which you have set up from scratch. So something like that you have to start doing to find out innovative way to keep yourself safe. I don't see a very, very clear way of testing a new wallet and assuming that it is going to be 100% hack proof. All right, so some people are saying, yeah, I might not vote if I got to paste private key. I agree with you. So one good thing is a Scatter wallet, which I still haven't got 100% confidence, but it is Scatter wallet is a very, very trusted wallet right now by community. They are preparing a version that if you trust Scatter, then all the voting portals, they are integrating with Scatter so that you do not have to enter your private key on each and every voting portal, and you're only trusting one interface, which is the Scatter wallet. So that's what I heard yesterday from them. In fact, they are giving some tokens free if you are using Scatter wallet or Scatter interface as a Chrome extension to vote. And they are actually giving some free airdrops. Again, as I said, I'm personally not interested in trying out any of those. I'm fine with my EOS tokens and the other projects. I'm willing to miss out on a few airdrops like this. I'm sure Scatter is a great project and they will be very valuable, but I will wait for a lot more validation before I risk my private keys. All right, so other questions. Will you get your airdrops if you register your coins on Exodus wallet? So I think we have answered this before. So if you have kept your coins on Exodus and you use their one key registration process, you already, so Exodus is just an interface. What I understand is they have been just creating a backend for the key generation, and they have created your EOS key, and now you are actually accessing that EOS. You are going to export that EOS key into a new wallet, and at some point, Exodus will support the wallet that is the EOS mainnet wallet, which they have already announced. But usually Exodus is very slow. I have seen my personal experience. I moved away from Exodus long time back because of multiple reasons. One of the reasons was that they are very high fee for this shapeshifter, the API they use for exchanges. But anyway, coming back to the support for airdrops, so private key is yours, but airdrops may not show up in Exodus wallet, because for every coin, Exodus has to support that coin to show up in that interface. So you can always export your key from Exodus, but your airdrops will still belong to you, because Exodus is not like an exchange. It's still an interface, and they are just managing your keys. Now, one more. What is the most critical bearish thing you can say about the US project? I would say, if I look at most bearish, I don't know, because market has a totally different way of measuring the value. I would say the risk for US, if you call it, is of course this 21 block producers, the security of it, how they will be working together, how the constitution come together. It's like, as we all know, that we believe that democracies are the best way to run any kind of organization, but there have been cases where democracies fail. So it's for the same reason I would say EOS can fail if, for whatever reason, a democracy fail in any country or any other place. So maybe it's not the way you want me to answer the question, but that's how I see. That's the biggest challenge for EOS. Other than that, I don't know. Means I don't see, like, right now. Of course, I'm biased because I really love this project. I've spent a lot of time analyzing it, and I see that it's one of the strongest in blockchain world right now, and the way they have implemented it should not really be a problem with the kind of team they have, with the kind of community they have formed. I'm pretty positive on it. Okay, so what are the other questions? Why don't the people leave their tokens alone? Yeah, I think I agree with this. Please don't touch your tokens. That's the one thing I would suggest. How can we get the airdrops, Exodus wallet? So I think I already answered that question. All right, so I don't see any more questions. So please keep going with your questions. And in the meantime, what else I wanted to cover? So I wanted to definitely, we talked about Bitcoin today. It is still going up and down. We are in $7,600. So the market, of course, reacts with Bitcoin. So this is still the case. I don't know if I've uploaded this. I've updated my coin market cap. See, so everything is in green. Great. So this is how it moves. But this is another unfortunate thing. Like, we are not seeing a lot of differentiation, which is happening. Like, if Bitcoin is positive, everything is green. So this is crazy. I hope that this changes once we see real application. Right now, it's a speculation market. So what are the other comments? There were too many YouTubers advising people to put tokens on exchanges. Oh yes, so I think this is something which I have talked about in my videos for a long time. I think this is one of the worst thing which, if I don't know about YouTubers, because I really don't watch YouTube. If you have kept your tokens on exchanges, I never believed that's a great idea for EOS, because again, let me remind you, EOS, the whole principle is that we will be changing the ERC20 model. There will not be any more ERC20 based coins, maybe 1 year or 2 years from now, once people realize how this model should really work. How EOS works is you give out tokens. This is very, very easy on EOS because it's free. The throughput is so much higher. You can do an airdrop within like seconds. The biggest thing is you don't have to pay any fee, and then you can really raise money that way. You have no issue with SEC, which is the biggest challenge with like any ICO process. So 2017 and 18 were the years of ICO. I believe 2019 and 20 will be the year of EOS based raise, and you will see a lot more people raising money on EOS platform. I'm sure most of them, like 95% of those tokens, will be useless. And in your EOS wallets, you will be sitting with like all kind of crazy stuff which has no value. But again, that is there are always positives and negatives of this thing. I personally don't like so many airdrops coming on Ethereum right now, which are like half of them are totally useless and crap. But you never know which project will be successful. So as an investor, you don't mind keeping them as long as you know how to manage your wallets and keep them safe. So do any exchange offer non-ERC20 EOS tokens yet, or do we need to wait for activation? So first of all, again, so you need to understand. I think you need to do a little more research and understand that there is no meaning of non-ERC20 EOS tokens till mainnet is launched. There is no token. So those tokens will be right now. The only token which we have is ERC20 tokens, which are frozen. And once the mainnet launches, then the new chain will be created. Then Dave has a question that about the bidding for EOS account names. As I understand, this I haven't really followed that particular story, but what I heard from somebody indirectly, so I'm not 100% sure. I think they are still raising this money for maybe some like it will be raised for, like Scatter is selling it right now for a certain amount. Like they are using it like some amount, like $1. I heard sorry, one US token they charge for. One username registration. So I don't know if that is similar to model which this whole account name bidding will lead to. I don't know who is going to keep those funds. If somebody has knowledge, and any links to share, I would be happy to research and let you know. All right. So what else? So nothing else. Then let's keep going. I have one more thing on which I observed is there is a project Lumios, or however you want to pronounce it, and they are talking about again a social networking based and owning your own data based on EOS, and we are seeing some good progress on this. Some of these key team members, they were like previously in good projects, so I would watch out for this project. So I'm just looking at it on the Twitter feed and so on. This looks pretty exciting. Another thing which happened was, I don't have the link open right now, but is the EON, eon.org, and let me see if I can quickly open it here. So some people had been asking me that what is this airdrop? Why didn't you cover it? So to be frank, this is a Chinese website. It's not even secure. It's not SSL secure, and they had an interesting thing. Like they are talking about an airdrop where they are asking you to send a transaction or ERC20. I didn't really like it in terms of the way it was designed. The why they are asking to send a transaction, which looked a little risky, because you, as a normal investor, you cannot really understand what instructions they are giving you in, because some things, there's always bugs in smart contracts which can lead you to lose your tokens. While they were not asking for private key, and I'm not saying this is a scam, what I'm saying is I was not comfortable, so I didn't share this. Again, they're not even a secure site, and so this is one thing which I would like to highlight. If you have anything here coming from these somebody asking you to claim your tokens, be careful right now. There have been a lot of scams. So as soon as you go to, like, even the standard official pages, like a Twitter accounts of EOS, you will see immediately a lot of scammers coming, making it sound like official, and they are asking you to go and uh, click links which are very, very unsafe. There is another question: who will be the EOS token holder? Who will the EOS token holder can vote? So you can vote for any block producer. So there are, like, I heard that there are almost 700 block producers now. So you can vote for anyone. So it's all about it's a democracy. It's anybody can join. Even you, if you have a server, you can just launch a EOS node. It's open source code. You can go and launch a chain and join this effort for EOS core. They are open. They are actually helping anybody to come on board, and you can vote for anybody. Do you think EOS can go to #1 spot over Bitcoin? I don't know in short term, but in long term, if with the way EOS is designed and what their targets are in terms of the capabilities, the technical capabilities of EOS, I think it can. But I think we need to look at the utility first. I think the valuation, the market does. Right now, Bitcoin is leading the whole market. If the Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. So in current scenario, unless there is a clear kind of a separation of this whole market behavior, we cannot see it overtaking. But definitely, okay, let's go back to coin market cap. Definitely, I don't see how these projects, Ethereum, Ripple, and Bitcoin Cash, how can anybody justify them to be more valuable than EOS? The only reason it is less valuable right now is because it is yet to be launched and it is yet to prove itself. Once they prove what they have promised, so right now, just based on promise, we have the market cap, which is $12 billion, and easily once they really show this, whatever you are kind of promise, and you really make this reality, where you see this Everpedia project, you see the real throughputs. Like some of these projects are ready. Like if you look at Everpedia, they are ready to move in 1 month. The lot of other projects we are talking about, many of them are ready to be really demonstrate the US capability. And don't forget, this is not the first product Daniel Arimer is doing. Steemit is running for so many months, and BitShare is running for like almost 2 years now. So it's or maybe more. Means what I was saying is EOS is like being doubted right now. Anybody who spends like 5 minutes on EOS, he thinks it's a scam. Anybody who spends like more than 2 hours, he knows that it is a real thing. So it's all about doing enough research. The most of the reports in media and everywhere, they just look at it superficially. Even when I first time looked at it, it felt like why should I invest in this? Like why should I invest in something which they're not promising anything? And why is this ICO going on forever? There are a lot of questions you have, but once you realize the philosophy, once you realize what this stands for, that's how you make real judgments. And I think that is something which is missing. I think still a lot of market is still calling it scam. A lot of people are still waiting for it to fail. And once it really proves itself, and I hope it does, and there are no major issues, then I think definitely we can reach number 2 in market cap, if not at least number 3, because Ethereum is still pretty huge. They are like kind of 5 times of EOS, but I would say Ripple and Bitcoin Cash have no meaning to be above EOS in market cap. All right. Why, in your opinion, TRX is a strong buy? Okay, so the Tron, I would not call it. Okay, so I think if you are on my Facebook page, I have shared some updates on Tron. I have not tracked it as closely as EOS, but let me tell you one thing. I look at market weighing the options and who is willing to fund you. Those people decide. So I have been in this industry of private equity, and like I've been part of some venture funds and so on. I got lucky in terms of spending some time with some of the big VCs, and I know how they value a particular technology, how they really invest in something. Tron has some signs of being a successful candidate because they are solving a lot of Ethereum issues. They are actually really taking this basic issues around the proof of work. They are trying to fix those. They are trying to increase the transaction speed. They have a big community. I think that is one thing. So again, this is not a show for Tron. I will definitely cover Tron more. I'm not a great fan of the person like Justin Sun. They are very, very shady marketing practices. They have not been genuine. But I think overall, when I look at it like one level more, I find some merit to it. So again, I will spend more time on it. But at this moment, it's really, I think I got put off by their flashy stuff and the way they market themselves and only talk about market value, and that is what is the negative about it. But there is some reasons. I think I will talk about it maybe in another video. I don't think I have them ready right now here, but I will show you why I believe it has some merit. Definitely not to the level of EOS and nowhere close to EOS, but they can definitely compete with Ethereum and take away some business from Ethereum. And that's why I think I'm getting very, very negative on Ethereum in long run. In short term, as I said, market moves together. So Ethereum is going up because it is like, if you know the stock market lingo, we talk all about beta. So it's like it's a high beta and it moves faster in the same direction as Bitcoin. And if you see, most of these charts look almost same. So this is like right now the market is speculation based. They're not really checking the utility of these coins. And that's why the behavior is like that. Another question is, where do you see the price of EOS by end of 2018? Again, it's a speculation. If you want me to speculate, I can always do that. It depends on how many dApps launches, how many airdrops are there. But I can say it can, if, and also it depends on the market. As I said, money flow depends on the market. If Bitcoin hits 20K, EOS can easily hit $100. So you need to understand that there are a lot of factors which determine the price. And as I'm saying, like maybe not by end of 2018, maybe by end of 2019, but I definitely see it getting to number 2 in coin market cap. And maybe $100 is something which is my personal target for EOS for in next 12 to 18 months. Can EOS be used as a currency and swapping cryptos, or is it mainly for DApps and developers? I would say EOS can be used for anything. Once it is trading as a cryptocurrency, it's already a currency. You are already buying it. You are already used, like all of us who are investors, we are all buying it as a currency. You can always share EOS with each other, and that is the meaning of currency. Now, whether they will have like actual acceptance on your coffee shop, it's possible with EOS. Technology allows it. There's no cost to do a transaction. In fact, EOS has the best features of being a currency. But for that, somebody has to really develop those apps. Somebody has to really take it forward. And I'm sure it is possible. Now, the question is whether it will happen. It depends on who backs it, who really takes that ecosystem forward. Right now, from the core team of EOS, their goal was to create a technology platform, not to focus on one particular area, because EOS is much bigger than currency. EOS is actually the creators of EOS. If you talk about Dan Larimer, he's never talked about currency. He's mostly talked about changing much bigger things. Like you can do a social network on EOS. You can do, means you think about the possibilities once, like changing it's a new internet where really you can have everything decentralized. And recent fiasco with Facebook where they could not control their data, it's a perfect example. Facebook is like almost getting ready to be $1 trillion company, and that is where EOS can make an impact. There are a lot of other things. Means EOS is a technology which is like, if anything, which is applicable to blockchain. I would say today EOS has the best features to really utilize that and really enable that thing in terms of blockchain-based decentralized world. Okay, so what other questions? I'm scrolling through them, and I hope I'm not missing out on something. Do repeat your question if I miss out. Um, heard that 10 addresses have majority of coins. I think I answered that. So Vivek, if you're watching the other videos, I already you should look at the video where we debunked this whole decentralization FUD. Let me see where are all the videos. So please watch out. So in short, what I would say is that it's all about exchanges. If there are millions of users on exchanges, and then exchange wallet is registered there, that is how it can be seen as centralized. And irrespective of that, remember, this is a democracy. They have a very, very open system. The rules can be changed. And I gave an example in my video of how this particular EOS DAC token, which is a community-driven block producer, and they actually did not airdrop to the exchanges, which did not give the tokens to the real token holders. And that is where I think is a big thing. Like it was impossible in any other world. In EOS has a very good community, and they're doing this. Vivek, you're claiming that all exchanges hold 13%. I would like to see a proof of that. I'll show you one thing. If you go back, and we were tracking very closely how many wallets are registered, and last few days, like last 12 hours, when exchanges froze their wallets, after that, we had a big movement. And we moved from 60% to 98.8%. And I believe that is where I think most of those were exchange wallets. That's my personal belief. And I believe at least 30 to 40% tokens are held by exchanges. But if you have that 13%, I would like to know your sources, and definitely I will look into it. But I don't think there is any merit to it. Remember that exchanges have multiple wallets. They don't just own one wallet. And definitely Bitfinex has much more, because I had some data. I don't have it right now, but I had some data on showing how Bitfinex has much more. than 13%. All right, so let me scroll through other questions. We already talked about wallets, so please rewind back and listen to this video. You will know more about wallets. So in short, there is no wallets right now because there is no mainnet. So there is no chain. Then don't expect a wallet right now. What else? Will EOS be used in mobiles like iOS, Android? I think it's difficult to say, right? Means we don't want to put technology for the sake of it. Like right now, I don't know why you should put it in Android or anywhere. The major need is what do you need to decentralize? That's what you should focus on. And phones are already decentralized. Like you are using your the apps and you're using independently. What is not is your data, which is getting stored in cloud. So I would say it will make more sense to do it in the data centers and in the basic apps and the backends rather than doing anything with your iOS or Android. You can always have a front end for iOS app in terms of like how it will interact with EOS. But yes, I think again these are very big things we are talking about. Like the technology is just launching. It's not even the blockchain is not even running. We are like there have been so many days. This is a new community being formed. There is no big funding. Remember, all these block producers, some of them are like you and me. They are like just people interested in technology. They picked up a computer. They were developers. They said, okay, let's go and launch it. So many of these guys are coming from like bottom up. So these are not like a big corporate driven funding. Once they become block producer, once they start generating revenues, maybe they will have more money. They will have more funds to go and do it, and block.one is going to start funding those dapps. All that is still ahead of us. It's not yet happening. The only app I see which has money is Everypedia. They got $30 million from block.one and Galaxy Digital, and there are some more which I'm seeing, but most of them are like kind of startups today on EOS. So this is long way away. Let's not start hatching counting our chickens. Means we are just the hen is still laying the egg. The one with 10. Okay, so what are the other comments? How many projects are capable of switching over to EOS from their current platforms? I would say any project can move if they are flexible enough. If they are too tied up with Ethereum, it's difficult. And actually, somebody asked me why I'm positive about Tron. I loved the approach they had. They created a virtual machine where any Ethereum app can be ported to Tron. I think somebody has to come up with that on EOS. I think EOS has a lot of work to do. I want somebody to implement some kind of virtual machine where developers who are already like Ethereum is already so many years old, like more than 2 years, people are developing dApps on that. And as a developer, you have spent so much energy on that, it's very difficult for you to move the code. So if you're from a software world, you understand this. Like it's going to be very difficult to switch to a new technology to understand that. So that's some of the things which I like about what Tron is doing. And of course, people are in crypto world, people become fanboys. They say, oh, I love one technology, I will just hate everything about the other. I would say, as neutral investors, we should not love our investments. We should investigate them. We should actually contribute to the community, saying what is good about one token and the other. And that's how you build real technologies ground up. That's how you build communities where you learn from each other. So I would say the reason I love Tron is that there is a lot to learn from them in the way they have launched, the way they have processed recently. I would say that is something which EOS community should do. All right, so what else people are talking about here? How many major dApp projects have been announced so far? So I think we covered that. There was a good graphics from EOS Tribe. Again, I don't have it open right now here. In one of the videos, I had shown that. So please go and look at that. There are a lot of dApps coming. And plus, it's very early stage. I'm sure there will be like thousands of dApp by early next year. What else? How do you see Cardano? Cardano, I think I have not looked deeply. I have one of our community member, in my group in Telegram, he was looking at it actively. And he had there is some merit to it. I heard that there are some good things. The only challenge with there was is they are too process oriented. They're moving very slow, and I hope that it's very very difficult for them to really move faster with the kind of baggage they are carrying. But I think the processes they're following, maybe it will make them better, and they can be a worthy competitor. So I can't say more than that. So another question. So guys, by the way, there is 10 more minutes. I need to close this. So let's, if you have any specific question, please keep them coming. And I'll try to keep it short from now onwards. What do you think about Vitalik's claim that Ethereum will improve speed by 100 times with sharding, plasma? Well, okay, so this is a long thing. I cannot do it in short. So basically, if you look at all these Ethereum uh, claims, they have these three different projects, sharding, plasma, and all. And even if I think I talked about it in one of the videos on Ethereum versus EOS. Um, Again, means basic summary is that they are too dependent on each other. They are nowhere close to implementing those. You are just doing you are backporting stuff, which was it was a very bad design, and now you're saying, "Oh, let me redesign the whole thing." And plus, it's a running chain. Making changes on a running chain with no constitution. So there are so many problems. They don't have a constitution. They don't have any arbitration. There are a lot of protest whenever you try to make any changes in Ethereum. And it's Vitalik is the only guy who's deciding, and he's in most of the events, traveling all over the places. I don't even understand how Ethereum is running. Um, of course, it's a pretty good code. It's what is running today is good, but I'm talking about the future roadmap. I don't even know how Ethereum is implementing their roadmap when there is a very very centralized decision making. There is no governance model, and they are trying to do 10 different projects, which there is no roadmap defined of when they are going to merge. And himself, Vitalik, has said in many times in actual interviews that it's going to be super complex. He has no idea how he will merge all these concepts together. So these are all promises. He cannot really say it out loud. So I think Ethereum is going to face a lot of challenges. And the biggest challenge is they are going to now be behind, right? Means till now they have been ahead. And if they are going to keep doing this for next 1 or 2 years and Ethereum is not able to scale, as a DApp developer, why would I wait? Why would I just keep waiting for Ethereum to scale? I'm running a business here. I'm trying to launch my DApp. I'm trying to gain customers. I will go for whatever is available today. And that is what EOS is targeting. EOS is available today. And you can go and really start writing DApps and start releasing them once the mainnet is launched. So, and plus, if you just compare basic scalability, the biggest thing is Ethereum is never going free, right? Means EOS is free transactions. You don't have to pay for every transaction. So there are so many positives which EOS has, which Ethereum will not be able to match with all these great technologies which Vitalik is talking about. All right, so what else, guys? So we have mostly a discussion here. I think it's a good question. I'm glad so many people have joined. So we will just take last 1 or 2 questions. The closing comments, the people who joined late. So this is again, it's targeted for the US launch tracking. So the 2-line summary is that there's a meeting happening with block producers, all of them coming together. There's a call in, I think now 1 hour from now, and they're going to make a call whether they have any major bugs. So what they have announced is anything which is P0 or P1, they will stop the launch and they will try to fix those, while anything else reported, they will make a call right now in next 2 hours. And then they are going to the time which is aligned is 1300 UTC tomorrow, which is around, I think, morning sometime in US. So that is something which we are looking for. Again, that is the earliest. So tomorrow is the earliest when they can start setting up this new phase, which is the enable phase. Right now, we are still in testing phase. There's still bugs being ironed out. There were another dozen of bugs which were reported by the bounty hunters. It was actually a one person who made 120K within a day by reporting 12 different bugs on EOS. So that's a great news. Again, there will be a lot of FUD. I already started seeing some articles on, oh, EOS found 12 more bugs and it's totally doomed. So if you know how software works, if you know that this is no problem, just don't worry about that FUD. And what you need to understand is software will always have bugs. when you are updating your phone every day, when you pick up your phone, there are hundreds of apps which are updating in background. Even the Android OS or Apple OS is updating all the time because they have bugs. So don't worry about that. Bugs will always be there. It's more about, you need to understand how these block producers are talking about. These are very knowledgeable people. They are looking at what is a real blocker, what is really something which has to be fixed, versus any other bugs which are just good to have. And that is what is most important. So that's all I would like to say. I think I'm done for the day. Thanks a lot for so much of your love and support. And just a quick summary. So we have opened up our channel for some donations. If you like the information, you can feel free to send your donations to these Ethereum, Bitcoin, or PayPal addresses. And please, if you are still not started on Binance or BitMax, you can use our links here, which are the referral links, Binance and BitMax. BitMax is something which we are doing some futures trading. So be very careful. This is like 100x leverage they provide. That means if token moves by 1%, you get 100% profit. But that works both ways. If it moves by 1%, you can lose all your capital also. So that is some, but I think if played right, this can really make huge gains. So this is something which I've been working with my close group here. And yeah, Binance, of course, is my favorite exchange till now for altcoin trading. And that is the link I've provided here. Facebook page, please feel free to join. We have some discussions. We are forming a community there as well. And that is a place where we are right now having a lot more discussion beyond EOS. All right, guys. So that is it for now. Thanks for joining. Subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, and talk to you again in a few hours when we have more update from the call. I will do a short video. If there is nothing great, I may just skip the video. But I think nothing is happening in next 12 to 14 hours. Just sit tight with your tokens. Don't try to be really smart about it and try to vote without getting approval from some good block producer or somebody you really trust. So all the best, and let's hope that EOS goes to the moon. Bye bye.